Okay. Okay, here we go. 7 qualities of extraordinary leaders. This is the last video in this series. And so let me quickly review them and then we'll do qualities 6 and 7. So, this is to be an extraordinary leader. You build these things into your life and grow in them. And instead of being a status quo leader who just kind of maintains or gets the job done, an extraordinary leader always has this ability to have sort of a multiplying effect. The difference between a status quo leader and an extraordinary leader is massive, massive amounts of difference. There's small shifts, but they make disproportionately big differences. So here they are. Extraordinary leaders make things happen. They don't wait for things to happen. They make things happen. They just go after it and get her done. Second one is they check their ego at the door. You can tell extraordinary leaders can be trusted. You know it intuitively and you discover it as you work with them because they are more about the mission and more about the people than they are about their own insecurities or their own ego. The third one is they overcome limitations. Extraordinary leaders realize that problem solving is what leaders do. They find obstacles, they find limitations, and they overcome them. We can't is not in the vocabulary of an extraordinary leader. It's we will find a way. All right, the fourth one is they are extra. They go the extra mile. They put in the extra 10% in everything they do. They're always asking, how can I make it better? What else can we do? How else can we improve this? And they always wanted to have that sort of wow factor, everything they do. Because, and I'll tell you this about extraordinary leaders, is you think, man, if I lose this person, I've lost something amazing. They bring an edge. They bring something special to the table with just that extra 10% effort that most people never get to. Okay, the fifth one is they're fully engaged. That's awesome. So they're just all in. They give it all they've got in every moment. That doesn't mean they burn themselves out, okay? But they know how to set the pace in any given moment. They bring energy. They bring that full engagement, and that's a powerful thing. And by the way, extraordinary leaders have to manage themselves well so they can do that, right? They have to remind themselves and bring their full energy to whatever they're doing. They bring their best game. Okay, number 6. Here we are. We're going to talk about the one that we get to talk about today. We're actually going to do number 6 and number 7. Number 6 is they own outcomes. Okay, they own them. They take responsibility for the outcomes that they are in charge of or that they've taken on. When they're in meetings or when they, again, see areas where there's needs, they'll take that on. They'll say, yep, I'll own that. I'll be in charge of that. I can handle that. And what they're doing when they say, I'll handle that, is they're taking the burden off of anybody else and saying, I'll carry that burden. I'll make sure that that gets accomplished or that gets done. And I'll tell you, that is such a freeing thing and a wonderful thing for everybody else who's connected to it to know who owns it. And extraordinary leaders are willing to own it. And of course, they're willing to own how that outcome turns out. So, because, things sometimes turn out awesome, sometimes turn out not so awesome, sometimes turn out terrible. But extraordinary leaders know how to take responsibility for the outcomes. And that includes celebrating and enjoying success and certainly giving credit, but it also includes saying sorry, which brings me to the last one, number 7. Seventh quality of an extraordinary leader is to fail often. Extraordinary leaders have this ability to take risks, know that we're going to have regular failures, and when they fail, they can own it. Again, there's this checking of the ego at the door that allows them to own failure, to say, yep, we took a risk. We that didn't work out the way we'd like, or we did this and this, and I should have done it this way. I did it this way. I apologize. Extraordinary leaders are quick to apologize, and they're able to apologize. So that's just, they fail often. I love the way Pastor Craig Groeschel says this. He says, failure is not an option. It's essential. It's essential. We're going to fail. We have to fail. That's how we move forward. We fail forward. We learn from our failures, we grow from our failures, and we move forward through our failures. And I'll tell you this, every extraordinary leader you meet has had some big failures in their lives, which has taught them other things. We could talk about brokenness and so on and humility. But I'll tell you the other thing is they fail regularly. They fail often because they're moving forward and they're being challenged and they're trying new things and they're growing. So that's just part and parcel of being an extraordinary leader. So there it is, 7 qualities of an extraordinary leader. Number 1, they make it happen. Number 2, they check their ego at the door, make it about the people and the mission. Number 3, they overcome limitations. Number 4, they go the extra mile. Number 5, they're fully engaged at whatever they're doing. Number 6, they own outcomes and take responsibility. And number 7, they fail often and they fail forward. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Let's all work together at being extraordinary leaders, those leaders who have disproportionate kinds of impact through our lives. And of course, God is the one who enables us and grants us the grace to be able to serve in any capacity as leaders. Thanks so much for joining us for this series of videos.